It's a lot of work you accomplished this morning, so thank you
very much.
Okay, that takes us to item 6, applications for abatement, and there are none. Item 7, notices and requests. Authorize the auditor to post notice of hearing on March 20th, 2018 to consider carryover supplements from the 2017 budget to the 2018 budget. Kim Adamson.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kim Adamson from the Auditor's Office, and I'm here this morning just to request authorization to post a notice for the budget hearing to be held during your regular commission meeting on Tuesday, March 20th. The notice includes requests from several departments in the general fund totaling $1,465,195.30 and from several special revenue funds totaling $1,425,340.44. And these will be supplements carried over from the 2017 budget to the 2018 budget.
Are there any questions for Kim? If not, I'd entertain a motion to authorize the auditor to post the notice.
So move.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you so much. That takes us to item 8, planning and zoning notices. Kevin Hookman.
Morning, Kevin Hookman, County Planning Department. Item 8 is to authorize the auditor to publish notice for a rezoning request. This request is for approximately 9.5 acres of land to be rezoned from C commercial to the Hoppy Plan Development District. This property is located approximately 6 miles east of Sioux Falls on County Highway 42. The County Planning Commission heard this item on February 26th and voted to recommend approval on a 5-to-1 vote. Staff is recommending that this item be heard at the March 27th regular County Commission meeting. So if you have any questions, you can let me know. Or
Any questions?
Just one, I guess. Since this is right on the border, do we have any arrangements with Iowa where we'd have to do notification to them of a zoning change? Has that all been done?
Yep. So as part of this, we did have to notify the Iowa County or the Lyon County Auditor's Office, as well as we do regular setback notices of all the property owners on the Iowa side. So we work with the their registered deeds, or not the registered deeds, their auditor's office and their equalization office to get those records of who to mail to and where. So.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion to authorize the auditor to publish notice of a public hearing on March 27th, 2018.
Move to set that date.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Next item, item 9, is petition for compromise of lien, and there are none. So that brings us to an opportunity for public comment. Is there anyone here today that would like to speak on an item that's not listed on the agenda? I don't see anybody jumping up. Okay. That takes us to regular business. Item 10 is a public hearing to consider a transfer of a retail on-off sale malt beverage license application for Wildwater West Water Park. Olivia.
Yes, due to the approval of ordinance MC 16-151-17 and conditional use permit number 18-01, a transfer is needed to include the new area of Wildwater West for them to be able to still use their malt beverage license. The application has been reviewed by the Sheriff's Department, State's Attorney's Office, and Planning and Zoning Department. I have received no concerns or objections. And I will mention that they also have a wine license, and because they're 2 separate licenses, a public hearing for that will have to come later.
Okay.
And Fran is here if you have questions for him.
Does anybody have any questions for Fran?
I would move for approval.
Second.
So you said the public hearing has to occur later?
No, this
Okay.
is a public
This
hearing.
is a public hearing. Okay. I just wanted, is there anyone here that would like to speak in favor of this item? Anyone here would like to speak opposed to this? All right, now, I think we had a motion
Yes.
and a second. So a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. That takes us to item 11, which is also a public hearing to present an update on the CDBG funding for the STI Certified Nursing Assistant Workforce Development Project. And Leslie's here from CCOG. Good morning.
Good morning. My name's Leslie Mastriani, and I'm a planner with Southeastern Council of Governments, or CCOG. Way back in 2013, the county and STI, or Southeast Tech, were awarded $55,952 in some workforce training dollars to help supplement their CNA training program. The funds were used to purchase equipment and increase capacity and to award scholarships to low to moderate income students. The final draw of these funds was in 2015, and we have everything in place to close the grant out. However, when our files were being reviewed by HUD and the CDBG program, it was discovered there was never a progress public hearing. So we're housekeeping right now and having a progress public hearing on a grant that's really been effectively closed for 3 years. So that's what I'm doing, is having a progress public hearing. Tail between my legs. I wasn't here. What can I say? And that's all we need to do. Just give you the information, and you don't need to make any action on it. It's just for your information only. So.
Okay, well, since this is a public hearing, is there anyone here that, besides Leslie, that would like to speak in favor of this item? You didn't bring a bunch of CNAs here to talk about their great experience, huh?
The weather.
Yeah, yeah, that had to be it. Anybody opposed? All right. Any other questions for Leslie?
I would just say that there's a huge need for CNAs in that industry, and I'm glad that we were able to extend that grant to make it more successful.
I agree. All right. So that's it. We don't need a motion or anything.
Nope, we're
All right.
done. All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming out this morning.
Sure thing.
All right, that takes us to item 12, where we'll consider a recommendation for bid award on project MC 1705, installation of countywide cable guardrail at various locations. DJ Boothie.
Good morning, Commissioners. DJ Boothie, Highway Superintendent. On February 21st, we opened bids for our countywide high-tension cable guardrail project. We received 3 bids for this bid opening. The lowest was BX Civil and Construction out of Del Rapids for $344,098.50. Our engineer's estimate of the probable cost was $351,822. So pretty close to that. We've done similar projects with BX. We haven't actually done a high-tension cable rail project before. We've only done guardrail projects, but we've done those similar projects with BX before, and we'd recommend approval of this bid award and contract to BX. So if you have any questions, I can answer them now.
Any questions for DJ?
No, move to approve.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
That takes us to item 12, legislative update. Craig Dewey.
Good morning, Craig Dewey, Commission Office. We're in the home stretch of the legislature here. The budget should be finally prepared and submitted to both chambers for a vote, and they will then go into 2 weeks of recess before the legislature would reconvene and consider any vetoes that the governor issues. If not, it'll be a gavel in, gavel out. Veto day. A few items of update. Senate Bill 86, dealing with selling surplus property, passed the House. There was a small amendment that was requested by a couple of members that would require the publication of the appraisal price when the notice of sale would be published. That ended up passing the House 58-5, and the Senate concurred unanimously, so the bill will be going to the governor for his signature. House Bill 1126. There was an amendment that was made recently to the bill that would limit expenses to Medicaid rates for different tests that would be required to be performed in cases of sexual assault or other offenses like that. Representative Reed from Brookings is the primary sponsor, and he was really trying to limit the county's exposure in that bill, and willing to work with the Association of Counties on that one. There hasn't been any change to 1157. House Bill 1257 had a hearing yesterday, and it was amended to remove some language that was in conflict with another highway cleanup bill, House Bill 1107, and our highway superintendent, DJ Boothie, had been working on 1107 over the past number of months, and so the change was made to 1257 just so that there weren't any competing sets of languages in either bill. 1308, that was quite the momentous bill regarding alcohol taxes that ended up being hog-housed at the committee level in the House, and it changed the potential distribution of the alcohol tax. That bill did end up passing the House, but was tabled in the Senate Appropriations Committee. Senate Bill 58, which is part of the Commission's legislative platform, has now passed both houses and is awaiting signature of the governor. Senate Bill 98, which dealt with eliminating the sunset clause on the 911 emergency surcharge, that has now passed the full House and is going to the governor for signature as well. There is no change in status for both Senate Bill 99 and 147, but I would be happy to stand by and answer any other questions if you have them.
Any questions for Craig? Commissioner Benega.
Any specific reasons why the Senate tabled the alcohol bill specifically?
The change of the alcohol tax redistribution ended up coming fairly late in the session, and the governor's office was very opposed to that change because of the potential $3.5 million change to some budget calculations, even though the Department of Revenue indicated that projections would be about $18 million higher. The state did not want to lose any of that revenue, even though the counties are the governmental body that primarily incurs the law enforcement costs due to alcohol consumption. So in combination with the governor's office and then working with the Senate, it was a matter of competing bills from the House squaring off against the Senate. And so it was a standoff, and both bills ended up getting killed. The other bill that would have raided the alcohol fund to pay for the veteran cemetery, that was the Senate side bill that I referenced, and that bill was tabled as well.
If I may?
Yes, Commissioner Karski.
I think this, the fact that it went as far as it did shows that there is an appetite in our legislators, with our legislators, to make a change, and instead of maybe asking for an additional tax, this would be a way where we could get additional money. And I think we need to pursue this in the next legislative session. I think it needs to be part of our platform that we make this change and forward that through the County Commission Association.
I agree. It seems to be a 3-year process in trying to get bills passed, especially when there's changes in revenue streams. And I think we're going to have to give it another shot because, as we already know, we've got an issue with public safety and the cost, and we're going to have to find a way to fund it, or it's going to have to be an ugly conversation about making either cuts or probably the whole issue of an opt-out.
If I could add to that as well, Commissioner Heiberger was out testifying in favor of those alcohol tax bills at the legislature, and had a conversation with the Department of Revenue making that case again, that conversation should be taking place after the legislative session. And it appears that Revenue is at least open to discussing the topic. That doesn't mean that they're supportive of the change, but they're, I think, at least open to having a discussion.
Well, thank you. And I would agree as well. I know when I spoke with legislatures or attended coffees, I do believe there's a more widespread understanding of the financial challenges that counties are facing and dealing with, particularly public safety costs. So I am hopeful, and I do think, I feel strongly that it does need to be part of our agenda for next year at this legislative session. And I appreciate the folks that worked hard on this and the folks that hog-housed the bill and provided the potential solutions, so, or part of the solution anyway. So thank you, and thank you for all your work. I know you spent a lot of time up in Pierre this session, so thank you very much.
Happy to be out there and happy to be home.
I think a lot of people say that about Pierre, so. All right, so that takes us to item 13, liaison reports. Are there any liaison reports this morning? Doesn't look like it.
I did meet with DJ Boothie, your highway superintendent, last week, and I didn't bring my notes from the meeting, just so you know that we did sit down and take a look at just kind of administrative stuff and go over things. So keeping that communication path open, I guess.
I would just say that we all got a copy of the IT update and been involved with that for a while. And I'm just amazed at how well they're doing getting this on schedule and frankly eliminating most of the concerns and problems that we generally see when you make a software change. They've done an awesome job. Monty and his staff have been incredible to work with.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody that disagrees on that, so. Okay, that takes us to item 14, new business. Is any new business?
Thanks.
If not, item 15, old business. Is there any old business this morning? All right, if not, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. There's no executive session today.
Wow. So moved.
Second?
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thanks for coming, everyone, this morning.